So, what's the origin of the Mediterranean diet? It actually is not new. It's an old diet that came by naturally, by nature, not designed by any particular group of people or science lab. It started actually about 15,000 years ago. But if you go way back before that, 100,000 years ago, before the last ice age even started. So 100,000 years ago, people were living quite nicely in the northern areas of Europe and the Americas, living off of the land, hunting, fishing, and living in grass huts and so on. And so then about 90,000 years ago, ice began to form. Huge amounts of ice started in the North Pole and even the South Pole. But the ice came down and grew. There were masses of ice, 200-300 feet high, sliding down slowly over the continents, over the European and American continents. And so the people huddled together, and in their areas, in their little townships, you might say. And so this is about 50,000 years ago. And they ate the same food, and they tried to harvest the same kinds of meats and poultry and chicken and culture the land, but they were not having too much success because things weren't growing due to the drop in the temperatures. So they started migrating south. And these were usually this is called the Paleolithic era, and they were tracking over snow and ice and trying to stay ahead of the cold winters. And eventually they ended up in the Mediterranean area. And the Mediterranean area was a nice, beautiful place, nice water that was coming in from the ocean. This was ideal because it was lush with grapes and oranges and avocados and fish, cold water fish. And they started doing contour farming, where they would plow and work their land vertically up the hills and down the hills. And this collected the water, the rainwater, and they got their food, their cod, their hake, their halibut, and so on from the ocean. And they ate what they processed, what they grew, the fresh vegetables, the oranges, the grapes, and they made wine. The wine was excellent because it was full of antioxidants, olive oil. They had a lot of olive fields. And today, these people live to be quite old and healthy, and they walked quite a bit. So they ate a balanced, perfect diet that was described on the pyramid, and they did a lot of exercise, mainly walking, a little bit of riding. They walked behind plows, walking to town, walking to the neighbors, walking to and doing their work. So they did a lot of exercise as well as diet. The diet was perfect. And so what's not to like about the Mediterranean diet? So it's about 17,000 years old, because at about 17,000 years ago is when the ice started regressing back. And that's when the Mediterranean diet and their habit of exercise became very, very popular. Thank you. We'll go on with that and look at the diet in more detail now.